If it falls, it falls.
Hi.
You can talk, and then I'll go with you.
Okay, yeah. So we just got done with our Posh and Sip, and this was my first one to have a co-host, and I couldn't have asked for a better co-host, Lexi.
Well, thanks.
And we had such a fun time. First of all, we are in the St. Louis area, and I feel like we've said this before, I think there's more eBay sellers out there for St. Louis, and so with Poshmark, it was kind of a rare thing for a handful of people to show up, and we had a total of
6, I think.
Yeah, six guests, and that was great. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of Q&A. I had a presentation done to approach every level of seller, whether you had been on there a while and you needed more critiquing, or if there were anything like, what is Poshmark? How do I start? What's the basics?
Yep.
And Lexi is like super seasoned on everything and has like had amazing weeks of just like consistent sales, and I've just been kind of like in between lately. So we were going to talk about that on the tips that we shared to the people that came to the Posh and Sip, and just to reiterate and to share again on what you guys can do to help your sales.
Yep.
So should I start from the bottom and then keep going like what we talked about to get like busier on the app and get more sales? Okay. So starting at the bottom with Poshmark as a beginner, and they always say this too, you want to start with like 20 listings to really give your closet a well-rounded appearance, and so you have the chance to let a customer create a bundle, which would lead you to a higher profit. The next thing that we talked about was that if you're already past that point and you have a lot more listings to add, then any positive activity on Poshmark is going to help you get more sales. Mm-hmm. And what positive activity is, it's welcoming new poshers, which is what I do. It's sharing your closet consistently.
Multiple times a day.
Yes, and she's doing the multiple times a day. Now,
I would definitely aim, if you're going to try to do full-time Poshmark reselling, try to share your closet 6 to 10 times a day, because that is honestly what brings me the most sales and what drives my listings to be up there in the most recently listed and shared items within the certain brand.
I try to share my closet. The goal is at least 3 times a day for me. I am a stay-at-home mom and have 2 children, and it's different for everybody. Yeah. And I also get up in the morning and I try to welcome new poshers or new closets, because A, they're more than likely to be pretty active and fresh on the app. Mm-hmm. And if you're the first person to just reach out and say hello, then they're probably going to go to your closet right away to check you out, at least to see what kind of seller you are, because they're really curious. Yeah. And they may even understand that sharing is really a nice thing to do on the community. Mm-hmm. So you might actually have an increased chance of getting shares because they really liked how you reached out to them. And then I want to go into that too. When you talk to your new posher friends and you follow them, I'm not too big on following, and neither is Lexi. I follow new people a lot. You want to be really genuine with your comments and say, hi, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help, or hi, welcome to Posh. Just keep it really short and sweet. Don't do a whole chain of emoticons, and don't say a whole bunch of, I'm having a super sale right now, let me know if you like these items, I can bundle for you and do a 20% off, because that's a lot of information. Yeah. And it's not going to give a really good representation of yourself. You're going to sound really cheesy, really spammy.
And pushy.
And
you don't want to sound pushy towards a potential buyer, because then they're going to be turned off from your closet, because they're going to think, wow, this person is literally just trying to take my money. They don't care about me as a customer. They just want my money.
And a thing about Poshmark too is that with the positive activity, it is building trust with somebody. And you're showing that you're actually a real person on the other end, and not some weirdo spammer
robot
person.
Type thing.
That's trying to just get information, which sadly happens too much these days on any kind of platform. So moving on from that, when you talk to people, that is positive activity. Share your closet. Try to do listings every day is a discussion that we've had kind of all night. I have always been told, if you're slow on your sales and you want to boost them, try doing 5 listings at a time, or 5 to 10, and just doing a chunk, and then sharing your closet and doing the edit next list on each listing to refresh it and kind of boost it a little bit. But Lexi here has a different strategy, if you want to share.
So whenever I go sourcing, which is multiple times a week, I list everything that I got within 24 hours. So I do not post 5 things a day throughout the week for the entire week. When I get a handful of items, I take the photos right away the minute I get home. But if it's dark out when I get home, I'll take them that next morning, and then I'll list them within 24 hours. And I do that because I go sourcing multiple times a week. Therefore, I don't want to get a death pile. And I am proud to say I have never had a death pile. I am one of those people that lists it right away so that I cannot have that pile sitting there, because I know if I have that pile sitting there, I'm honestly never going to get to it, because I'm just going to want to get new inventory and not deal with the old inventory.
And I have a death pile. So
to each their own.
Yes. And so everybody knows about the death pile. For those that are new to Poshmark lingo, there's all kinds that you need to get familiar with, especially if you're new. The death pile is the pile of clothing that you have yet to list,
Yep.
or perhaps, like me, you have taken those photos and they're still sitting in your phone and you still haven't had the chance to post them.
Yeah.
And then you think you're going to do it when you're out and about, which is what I was doing for a long time. But now that I'm outside more with the kids because the weather just got warmer, I'm more away from my phone, period, and I'm taking more pictures of them. So, like, there it goes.
It gets lost in your photo album.
Yeah. So I feel like Lexi has a really good strategy, and I think I might actually take her advice or her perspective on this and just try to do a huge chunk for me and do it all one day, and then just keep sharing my closet consistently. And
I mean, if something that you're doing is not working for you and your sales aren't great and they're not consistent, try something new. Go and search around the internet and see what other resellers are doing to boost their sales.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, you can try different things. If you do one thing where you post 5 items a day every day of the week, and if that's not working for you, try something different, because you just got to find what works for you. There's not a right way, there's not a wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
Just try whatever you can to get the sales that you aim to get.
Oh, and then I don't think we covered this at our Posh and Sip, but any kind of social media that you link up to your account is so key, especially the visual ones like
Pinterest
and Instagram.
I always share my items to Pinterest because when you
yeah, go ahead.
When you share something to Pinterest, that's just another platform that it's going to be on. And if you've ever looked for comps or looked for photos online that other people are posting, odds are a Pinterest listing has come up that's linked to Poshmark. So I always share to always share to Pinterest, whether that be my own closet, whether that be other people's listings. I try to get it on that platform as many times as I can, because I have my own album on my Pinterest feed, Pinterest feed that is just for Poshmark items, and it just shares to that album. And even if my item's there 15 different times, it doesn't necessarily matter because it's getting more publicity.
What I have on Pinterest is I have several style boards that are like particular to the type of style that it is. So I sell a lot of vintage. I sell a lot of try to do new and trendy, and try to do what I would call basic bitch, just a lot of good basic clothing.
Yep.
Or there's also that minimalist style of something that really is universal.
That's what I always look for.
That is something universal to wear with a capsule wardrobe that's really popular.
Yeah.
So I do Pinterest a lot too, and I can't believe I forgot to share that in my Posh and Sip. We were busy talking about all kinds of things, but that's a way to kind of target your listings better, and it's visual. So visual apps really do help. I feel like Twitter kind of helps to get the following and the conversation, but maybe not as much as what Instagram can do and what Pinterest can do. So that's another form of positive activity.
I'll share my listings to Pinterest, and then I have my personal thrifting Pinterest or Instagram page that is just for my thrifting side of my life, my reseller side.
I have that,
less personal, more reseller focused. And if I find a really good find, I'll list it there and be like, hey, this is new in my closet, you should check it out. I'm really proud of finding this. My cover photos look good. So that's another way that I advertise a listing.
So do you share to Pinterest your listings just once a day?
So I share from my computer, and you can have the little toggle for Pinterest, and I just leave it on. So it's probably shared to Pinterest hundreds of times, and probably thousands of times, but I don't know if it shares every single time. I don't really know, but I just leave it clicked so that if it is by any chance going out there onto Pinterest, I just let it do it.
The lifetime of a pin on Pinterest is 10,000 times longer than any other kind of visual thing that you would get on Facebook or Instagram. I read that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm glad I brought it up in the video. So moving on with like the positive activity, we talked about sharing on a visual platform just besides within Poshmark. Don't worry about your followers. I mean, you talked about that.
I personally don't focus on the followers side of Poshmark because it doesn't actually matter. I mean, you want to have followers so that when you share your items, it goes to people, but that is never my main focus, is following people, because I get most of my sales from sharing. And when I share people's items, I get followers. And I won't neglect following. If people follow me, I'll follow them back, but it's not my main focus because it is a community and a site focused on sharing and getting your listings out there.
The other thing that you can try to do too, and it might be hard to explain on a video here without showing you visually, because I'm a very visual person, but target following is something that you can really do to help boost your sales. And that's typically the following that I favor, besides talking to new people to introduce myself and just to be friendly and say hi. So target following is, let's say I'll use the Lucky Brand shirt example.
Yeah.
Let's say you're going to sell a Lucky Brand embroidered top. And Lucky Brand is a brand that does well for me, but it's not a fast sale. And I don't really have a lot of people that I don't know if they're interested in it or not. So on the Poshmark app, I would key in Lucky Brand embroidered top.
And filter and find ones in the same size.
Find ones in the same style, same size, that are very similar. And then you go into those listings and drill in, and you see how many people liked or hearted that item, and you follow those people.
And then maybe share a couple of their listings so they recognize you.
Exactly. And then what you're essentially doing is creating a pool of potential buyers that might be like, oh, hey, that's that same Lucky Brand embroidered top that I wanted, and this buyer or this seller might accept my offer versus the other one.
Yeah, and if the other top, maybe that seller isn't active anymore, and so even if they buy the item, they might after 7 days get their money back, and it won't get shipped to them because the seller of that other shirt is not active anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe you're just opening up a new door for someone who is interested in the same type of item. And then if you have any more questions on that, you can just Google it, and it can give you better representation if you're still questioning.
Which leads more into Lexi's good point that, don't just go by what Poshmark has to check comps.
Yeah.
You want to go into the Google searches and what people are putting on eBay to see what other people are asking for and what it's actually selling for. Because there are Poshmark sellers out there that want to be a seller, but they're really not putting their all into it, and they're not really doing enough. So it just sits there, and it gives a different skewed impression.
Yeah, so with comps, a big thing that I try to tell people is do not go by comps on Poshmark. Yes, that gives you an idea of a selling point, but comps are so skewed. If you sell 4 items in a bundle, each item, the amount that you're actually getting for that item goes down because it's in a bundle, and odds are you're sending them a bundle deal. So when you send them that bundle deal and they accept the offer, and you mail it to them and the listings are marked as sold, the sold price will say the original price, and it will not say what it actually sold for in that bundle. So not only are they skewed because of bundle prices, but a lot of people who are just trying to get rid of stuff really quick might only have something listed at $10 when it's worth $55. So you really have to make sure that you're checking outside of the Poshmark app for comps. I do just a plain straight out Google search. If I'm selling a pair of Lululemon leggings in black and they're Aligns, maybe I just search Lululemon black Aligns and then see what they're going from. Just Poshmark, take a little glance at it, but look at eBay, look at Mercari, and then sometimes you just have to go off retail price and kind of see what you think you could get for that. And sometimes you just have to listen to your gut and post it for what you think you can get for it, because if all else fails, you price too high, you're going to be able to take an offer from somebody.
So we kind of just let out of positive activity, and then we got into how you check the comps, how you see what to price your items at, how to find the right followers for your items so you can potentially get more sales. The other thing that you can do to get more sales is you can, if you still have the photos saved, which by all means I hope everybody does, like more organized files than I do, because I tend to lose my photos going back on the death pile, but if, let's say, some items are not selling and they're not moving, and you know that you can get $20 for it, or whatever you're supposed to get, take the time to pull that listing or redo the first cover photo, like you said.
Cover photos are so important.
Cover photos are important. And if you want to check out Lexi's closet, it's
just Lexiframness, so Lexiframness.
Her closet is amazing.
Thanks.
I hope my closet is okay. For a stay-at-home mom, I hope it looks all right. It's cactus and peony, all like cactus like the plant and peony like the flower. I just decided on that a long time ago because I liked it.
It's cute.
Thank you. And so anyway, cover photos are key. You make sure that they are clean in a well-lit area, and you want to make it very easy to look at. Don't do anything distracting in the background. I did a video on using your backdrops and doing a flat lay, and I really got into that of what's important and what's not. And Lexi has like some dainty like type things.
In my closet on the photos that I do for my cover photos, if I'm not using a stock photo, which I know, don't come at me, I know it's not allowed, it's copyright, but I use them. But if I can't find a good stock photo, I just have a little leaf on my wall that I just tacked into the wall. Then I have a little boho dream catcher type thing. And those are pieces that are currently trending. So boho and leaves are trending right now. It's what everybody is into. So I just keep those in the back. I keep them on my wall at all times. I have a tack next to them on the wall that I can just put a hanger on when I'm taking photos. And that way they're consistent and it's something that's fun to look at but not distracting from the item.
See, she hangs her items on the wall, and I have mine on a white curtain, and I do a flat lay where I take my phone like this. So it doesn't essentially truly matter how you are laying your items sometimes.
Because sometimes I do flat lays if I can't get it on the wall right, or if the color of my wall is kind of the same as this one. It's kind of like an off-white yellowy. This one's a little more green, but you get the idea. The light makes it look yellow. The light in my apartment makes my wall look yellow. So sometimes if I'm photographing something that the wall is just not giving the justice it deserves, I will put it on a little white fuzzy rug with my dark hardwood floor in the background, and then I'll use it just as a flat lay. So I mean, you just kind of have to do what you can to photograph your items well, but make sure it is at least a little bit consistent so that people aren't distracted looking at your feed.
And then do you have a recommendation on how to improve the brightness of your...
So the app that I use is Pick Tap Go, and I know a lot of the big Poshmark sellers use this. I think it's like $3 in the App Store, a one-time charge. It doesn't charge you monthly like a lot of the other ones. And with that app, don't be discouraged if you can't get it to work right away. You just kind of have to mess with it and so it has different like presets and filters for you. And you can combine presets and filters. So I really like the bright side one, and then the one called bleached, and then lights on. So I combine those three, and you can like change how hard it is on your photos. You can do 100% of the filter, 50% of the filter, 25%, whatever you want. So you can just adjust that to make it work for your photo. You have to mess with it. It's not just gonna work for you if you just click a button. You really have to adjust it to what your situation is for your photo. And then once you've found it, it'll kind of work for all your photos as long as you're consistent.
Yeah, and I mean, her app that she showed everybody, it is amazing and how it works.
It's so nice.
It can be such a game changer for people that do not have access to a bunch of natural light.
Yeah, I mean, I've even taken photos. I had an example on my Facebook page once, but I took a photo in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m., and I did this just as an example, but 2 a.m. I put a white carpet on the on my hardwood floor, put some jeans down, and the photo, just straight up with the lighting from my apartment, no natural light, was so yellow and gross, and if I used that as my cover photo, it would not have sold. I did a couple edits to it, and it looked bright and white and amazing. It almost looked like it had natural lighting.
Yeah.
So you really just have to put effort into it, because I promise you it'll work. If you have any questions, you can message me. I don't even care. I will help you, because it is so worth the $3.
Speaking of the help, she has an amazing Facebook group, and I have a Facebook group as well. It's still pretty young. I still have to put in a lot of pointers, but Lexi, what's your group called?
It's called Poshmark Thrifting, I think.
And I am a member, and it's an amazing group. And there really are, there are a bunch of friends on there that just help and support each other, and no silly questions on there are stupid or looked as stupid. Like, everybody can ask something, that they need to know.
So it is Poshmark Thrifting. I confirmed. I always mess up the name if it's Thrifting or Thrifters. Poshmark Thrifters is a different Facebook group. Mine is Poshmark Thrifting. And with my group, we just focus on being positive. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, your group is one of the best because you guys keep it positive and you don't treat us like we're dumb for asking silly questions. Like, I do everything I can to respond to everyone's posts, which is getting a little harder because there's like 4,500 members now and like multiple posts a day. But the community in that group, I'm so proud of. We have fast response times for people's live thrifts and questions, and people are just there to help. So I highly recommend joining it. I mean, I don't get anything out of you joining it. I just get more members to help. So everyone in that group is so helpful. And no matter how experienced you are or if you're just starting, no question's a dumb question. So,
and then my group is called Poshmark Friends, and it's still, like I said, it's still pretty young. I actually had the group originally dedicated to crafting and creativity. So it's going through some changes right now. And if you are what I would call like a crafty mama or like crafty creative girl that
DIY,
likes to, DIY, likes to resell, likes to mix in with some fun things, then maybe that would be more of a fit for you.
Yeah.
We're going to try to put in a little bit of both, especially since, do you want to say how Poshmark is doing now?
For home decor?
Yeah.
So yes, on May 30th, Poshmark is dropping a home decor market, which I know a lot of you probably already know, but if you don't, this is a game changer. And at first, I did not like the idea, honestly. I was like, wow, this is just gonna flood the market. It's gonna become a lot like eBay and Mercari. But now I am so excited. I created a whole new account for my decor. It's called Dainty Decor, and on the May 30th, I'm dropping like 75 items. And I think it's just a fun way to, if you are creative and you do like doing DIY stuff, you have an opportunity to now sell that to your followers on Poshmark. Yes. And you're able to implement that into your reselling, because a lot of people can't do an Etsy shop because it's hard. It's a lot of work to do Etsy. Yeah. And a lot of people don't use Mercari to sell that type of stuff. So now we have the chance, if you're crafty or just like thrifting fun finds that are for home decor, now you have the chance to do that on Poshmark.
So that's another opportunity for you. And some people are like saying some negative things like, this is not going to make the app look good. Why are we doing this?
I said that at first.
Well, but I mean, honestly, I think as long as you're keeping things in line with your style, and as long as you know like what's cute and what is actually workable for a house today, I think you're gonna be okay. And
don't sell trash.
No,
that's a big. No, I think that's the biggest thing. Is a lot of people are worried that it's going to become trashy. Yeah, and kind of more like garage sale-esque. Yeah. So the biggest thing is, it's not just gonna become a trashy garage sale site. I am a firm believer that with the Poshmark sellers, we know fashion, we know style, we know what's trending, so we're not going to try to fill it with trash. Right. We're not just going to try to sell you some empty cookie jars. Like, we're going to make it worth everyone's time, and I hope I'm speaking for everyone out there who's a seller and who takes it seriously. We're not going to junk up the feed. We're going to make it really fun, and I think it's going to be a really good change. Yeah. I honestly think that it is going to bring in a lot of profit for people, because home decor, I mean, it's cheap at Goodwill, and a lot of people, I mean, we all know it's cheap at Goodwill, but a lot of people don't have the time or effort to go to Goodwill and want to search for what they want.
I can't tell you how many women I know, too, that love to shop for the seasons for their home, and they like to do a new thing every season.
Yeah, my boss is like that.
So when it makes sense, it's hardly used, you might as well turn it around and resell it. And since I am more creative, I have a Cricut maker at home. I used to do palette signs for people. I still do some woodworking and like even wood burning. It's great to know that wood items are allowed. Yeah. Picture frames are allowed with glass in them.
Yeah, so they're kind of, they haven't released their full list yet, but they did say picture frames are allowed, but they did say no glass or ceramics. So that's a little confusing. Picture frames have glass in it, so I'm guessing that's allowed, but I sourced a couple picture frames, and right now I'm sourcing for it because it drops on the 30th and it's like the 25th or something. Yeah, 25th. So 5 days from now, I got a lot of wicker baskets and a lot of just fun things that I'm really excited to try to sell.
Yeah, and so I can do a lot of handmade things, and I actually, instead of doing a different account, maybe I'll do that in the future, but right now I created a graphic that is going to be like a different department
and you
my
can
closet.
separate it. I mean, you can have it in the same closet. I
Yeah.
just personally want to do 2, so I'm doing 2. And to each their own. I mean, do what works for you, honestly.
I mean, we're equally both excited about
Yeah.
this with the home decor because it just kind of switches up and gives it something new.
Yeah.
Because I think every once in a while we probably do get tired of just clothes
Yeah.
hunting, or accessories might be a little bit different sometimes. But yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. So moving on from that, with the home decor that could be different for you, for your Poshmark closet, that can help you. We talked about comps. We talked about the positive activity on Poshmark, sharing your closet all the time.
Yep.
We talked about where we source. She is a thrift store girl.
Yep.
I am a yard sale queen in the summertime because I have my kids with me,
Yeah.
so it's super easy to just take them with me, and they can get out usually, and we can just look for things. And plus, I shop for them, and kids only wear clothes for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to buy a bunch of stuff that is brand new from Macy's and wherever. Just stick with some nice kid brands to get them through, and then
Yeah.
whenever they start recognizing what they want to wear, then maybe that'll be different.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of yard sales throughout the summertime, and the summertime we talked about is kind of a slowdown time.
Yep. Summer slowdown in Poshmark is a real
Yeah.
thing. People aren't active on their phones as much during the summer. They're out doing fun things with their family, out at
Yeah.
the lake, not on their phone. But, I mean, you'll still make some sales. You just got to get through it. You just got to work a little harder in the summer. But, I mean, it's worth it. And sometimes that just gives you a little bit of a vacation that you can spend time with your
Yep.
family and not have to worry about it so much. But I promise you, it's not going to be slow forever. It will pick back up for you. You just got to work a little harder.
They say September is the time where you really need to get ready because it's
Yeah.
back to school for a lot.
Yeah.
It's college, high school, back to school.
And everyone is on their phones in class. I don't care if it's allowed or not. I mean, most of my buyers are honestly college kids who are in class buying stuff from my store. So, I mean, it does pick back up. You just got to keep your chin up and don't give up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did we do at the Posh and Sip? Oh, we walked through a listing together where I actually brought in a vintage sweatshirt, and we talked about how it did have a flaw, so we would openly take a picture of that and zoom in on it to tell people
Yeah.
it does have a flaw, which is okay to sell flawed items on
Yeah.
Poshmark. Don't be discouraged by that. You just need to make sure that you are being honest with your communication and thorough.
Yep.
Don't miss any major flaws that would upset somebody to cause a case to open up against you.
Yeah.
And then take a picture of the condition of it. I try to do as many photos as I can to cover the item. Basically, and this sounds bad, but to cover your butt, so to speak, on making
Yeah, because
sure
if
that
you get a case opened, you just want to make sure you have all the proof that you sold them what
Yeah.
you were telling them that you sold them. But, I mean, just utilize all 8 photos and you should be good to go.
it's not that you're doing anything sneaky at all. You
Yeah.
just need to make sure that you're doing a full analysis of your clothing,
Yeah.
and you do a lot of words like that make sense to a buyer that would understand by the time that the product arrived. Oh, well, she said this.
Yeah.
She was right,
So,
and I knew that.
So you just want to make sure that they know what they're buying.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We talked about price point too.
Yeah.
So I was stuck in the price point, and I still kind of am, but Lexi did a really good job of explaining this. I was always setting my profit where it would be like $5 sale, $10 sale. I would do a bundle, $30. Once in a blue moon, if I had like a gold item, it would just sell for $40, $50 for that one item. But I was still on the lower end with my sales, but with her sales perspective, you really want to up your items on a higher dollar item more.
Yeah.
So
Basically, you want to list higher than you want to get because Poshmark is a big site where people want to send offers. So you want to give yourself wiggle room for offers, but also you want to price a little bit higher so that when a buyer buys something from you or sends you an offer and you accept that offer, that the buyer is thinking in their head like, wow, this seller was willing to work with me. Basically they're going to think they got to pick their own price. And if you had an item listed at $65 and you took an offer for $45, you should still be getting the money that you want because you're pricing higher. So make sure you're pricing higher, but you're still getting the money that you want. So that person who's buying it for $45, in their head, they're like, wow, I'm getting $20 off. This seller is amazing. I'm getting the money I want. They're working with me. But in reality, you're still getting the money that you want to make because you listed higher. So just make sure that you're giving yourself wiggle room to be able to work with it.
I think we would end with the possibilities that you could do if you didn't have the time to share your closet more.
Yeah.
And I will share my experience right now. I paid for somebody through Fiverr, which after talking with Lexi, I think I
Gotta be careful.
should have been a little bit more careful, but I paid the guy like $17 for 4 days to share my closet because I was getting ready for this event, and with 2 little guys, I only had so much time to work with what I had on Poshmark, and I thought, oh, this is a good deal. Well, that probably should have been a red flag. And he shared my listings, but if you want to get into the risks of bots.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know that the person who's sharing a closet is using a bot, but a big thing to be careful of if you're hiring a virtual assistant is to make sure that they're not using a bot.
Yeah.
Because if they're using a bot on your closet and your closet gets flagged and Poshmark finds out you're using a bot, then your closet is going to get deleted and you might get banned from the app. So you really got to be careful and selective. I know a lot of VAs who are trustworthy, so if you ever have any questions or looking for one, I do a lot of VA work for people, and I know a lot of people who are good VAs and trustworthy VAs. So essentially just be careful and don't just hire anyone, because especially if they're cheap, they're probably using a bot, and you just don't want to risk it. I mean, at that point, just risk not sharing your closet for a couple days, because it's a lot better than getting your account deactivated.
And then I'll just share on a personal level. For what I do to help my closets get more shares, or my closet. Sorry, I have one. I promise. I have one closet. I am part of a share group, and I paid to be in it, which no big deal. It was like $25, and it was through Poshmark HQ group. And if you go there, then she has like a share group set up. But what you do is you share somebody's closet for 20-30 listings, and then they reciprocate and share your closet back for 20-30 listings, sometimes more, sometimes less. It's just what you can do. And that really has helped, because I can't sit down on my phone all the time and share my closet consistently 24/7.
Yeah.
I've got my hands tied usually with kids.
Yeah, so basically one of those guarantees community shares for your closet.
Yes.
Which is good.
It is good, and it has helped my sales be more consistent. Is there anything else that we wanted to add in?
I don't know, I think we covered it all.
We covered a lot of it, yeah.
It's like 30 minutes.
Like a full 30 minutes, yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching, and then I hope you guys subscribe. And
yeah, subscribe to her channel. This is where the video is going to be posted. And then if you want to subscribe to mine, you can just search Lexiframness, and I post not regularly, but I'm going to get more regular after my wedding in 3 weeks. So
I'm hoping to get more regular as well. I would consider myself like a YouTube newbie too. So please subscribe. Please show what you want to hear more of from me. I'm a crafty person too, so maybe there's some DIY that can be mixed in.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.